Welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Giuseppe Palladini. I'm the founder of Stepping Bricks. Now, in this episode, we're going to cover flip. Flip in particular is when you change the value of a property, you increase the value of a property, and in order to make it profitable, then you need to find the right property and you need to follow these tips. Flipping a property could be a profitable way to invest in real estate, but you need careful planning and a perfect execution. So what do I mean by that? Well, there are some tips you need to follow in order for you to profit from flipping a property. Not all the properties are good for flipping. So number one, find the right property. When I say find the right property, I mean do your market research, understand which property is perfect for renovation, a complete renovation. Just as a definition, the difference between flipping and the BRR strategy is the flip, you buy the property, you increase the value by doing the work, and then you sell it. However, BRR, buy, refurbish, or refinance, is when you buy a property, you increase the value by doing the work, but then you rent it and you refinance, you put a mortgage on, okay? So that's the main difference between the two. They're quite similar at the beginning, but then for flipping, you can target a lot more expensive properties because you're going to sell it, you're not going to rent. So the yield is much better for selling it rather than renting it. You need to consider a lot of factors when you find the right property. One of them is location. Then you need to see the area, you need to see the type of property, you need to see the type of vendor as well, okay? Again, what do I mean by that? The type of vendor, if the vendor wants to sell the property as soon as possible and they accept a lower amount of money, then probably that's a perfect position to be in where you can negotiate, you can help the vendor to get out of a sticky situation, and then you can profit from a property by increasing the value. Number two is to create a budget and a timeline. If you don't create a timeline and a budget, believe me, you're going to go over budget and over time. So if you have a plan, I would say write a business plan together. This is one of the things we do for our academy members, for our mentees. If you have a business plan with a budget and a timeline, you know exactly what work you need to do for flipping the property, managing the project refurb, and be on time and on budget. We use probably useful tips for you. We use a software called Monday.com, but you can use Excel file, you can use whatever you want. Monday.com is kind of an Excel file, but it's color coded. I like it very much because you can, put the tabs as you wish. And you have as well calculations. It was very, very similar to Excel, but it's a lot more eye-catching. There is a free version, and then if you want to add more boards, then I don't know, there is a subscription or something. You just have a look. Monday.com is what we use for managing project refurb. Set the budget and the timeline, because if you don't set the budget, then what happens is you are promising. Let's say this flip is for you, that's fine. If you go over budget, it's your project. But if you are managing a project refurb for somebody else, like a client, and you promise them this property is going to cost you £10,000 and it's going to be finished in 4 weeks, for example, then you have to stick to the plan unless, of course, there are things out of your control. They can happen sometimes. I'm not saying they never happen, but if they happen every single project, then probably the problem is you, it's not the project. Stick to the budget, identify all the costs associated with the project. If you have a board, like a Monday.com board or an Excel board, then you have different tradesmen and different materials. What you can do as well when you do a flip project is you can talk to the builders and you can say, look, I want to source the material myself, the big material, not the small material. Could you just quote me for the labor? I would say do not negotiate on the labor because you're going to devalue the time of your team. But if you can find material at cheaper price, then it's perfect. For example, another useful tip, we use LNPG, Landlord National Purchasing Group. We have a video with Nick Watchhorn as well, the founder of LNPG. There is also a discount code there. But also, the London National Purchasing Group, they negotiated all the prices of, boilers, kitchen, bathroom, flooring, electrical, ceilings, everything for a refurb project for you. So they negotiate the prices for you in advance, and you're going to find bargain deals for kitchen, bathroom, etc. So you don't have to use it, of course, if you don't want to, if you feel comfortable, if you want your builders to source all the materials, you want less headache. But bear in mind, you're going to pay a little bit more. What I would say as well, I said about the budget, but also the timeline. If you're promising, I'm going to complete this project in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever you think is suitable for the amount of work, then you need to stick to it. How do you stick to it? By continuously revising what's happening in the project. So go and have a visit from time to time. Ask the builders to send you pictures and videos of the update. You don't have to go every single day. But if, for example, they've been working all day there and then they advance, the progress, ask them to send you a picture or a video on what they've done so far. And you can justify this not by saying, oh, I want to check on you, I want to see what quality work you're doing, but by saying, the client will be happy to see the progress. Could you please send me a picture at the end of each day? And they will be happy to do that, particularly for 2 reasons. Number one, the client is going to be happy, and the builder is going to have a library of the progress, which they can then post on their social media, and they can have more publicity and more work. And for yourself as well, you have a library of pictures and videos that you can make daily posts on social media. It could be Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat, whatever you use. And also YouTube, for example, when we do walkthrough videos of refurb projects. If you don't have all these pictures, if you don't have all these videos, you don't have content. So you cannot use anything for your audience, to show your audience on your experience. I hear a lot of times saying, Giuseppe, I don't have experience in property, or how can I find investors that would be able to invest with me for refurb projects, for flips, for example. It's simple. If they don't see your previous work, why would they invest with you? You don't have experience. Well, you might have experience, but you didn't show experience on social media. So when an investor is going to invest with you, is going to give you money, they're going to do the due diligence on you. They're going to kind of stalk you. So going to go on social media, see what you've done so far. They're going to see what project you've done, if you were on time, if you were on budget, and all this stuff. So document your journey all the time. Number 3 is make smart renovations. What I mean by that, renovation needs to be focused on maximizing the property investments. So there are materials that you can use to make the property look more modern. Then there are materials as well that probably are too expensive for a particular flip project, but depend on the type of property you're buying. If you're buying a property of £1 million, a massive mansion or a villa, and then you want to put top quality material there, then consider doing that, because it's going to increase the value massively, and your profit when you sell the property is a lot higher than if you buy £100,000 property and spend cheap money on material. For example, one of the beautiful things, you can have a look if you want. I was looking for thermal skirting. So the skirting boards, you can remove completely the radiators from the property, and you can put the radiators, the pipes, inside the skirting boards. There are various companies that do that, but they are very expensive. They look brilliant because you save a lot of space for the furnitures and things. You don't have radiators on the way. But at the same time, I wouldn't use on £100,000 property. I will use them on £1 million property, where that is going to increase the value massively, and you're going to profit when you sell it. It's a good, unique selling point, USP. Number 4, price the property correctly. You make money when you buy the property, not when you sell it. Okay? Maybe with flip is slightly different, but generally, if you overpay for a property, then the profit margin is already lower when you sell it. So if you buy the property correctly with the right price, then you're already making money. Now, when you sell it, you need to price the property correctly, because you need to target your customer. Not all the customers are good for your flip project. There are only a niche, a specific target market that you need to focus on, so they can you can market your property, and then they can buy the property for the price that you want. Remember, you're not just putting the property on the market and pray. You have already a figure in mind before you buy the property. So for example, if you say, I'm buying this property, it's £200,000, I'm going to spend £70,000, and the final value is going to be 400, you already know all your figures beforehand. And if you know that and you stick to it, then that's how you make massive money in property. Another tip is to work with professionals. Work with professionals would be contractors, so builders, estate agents, could be lawyers, solicitors, brokers, etc. And as well as a mentor. Because remember, estate agents can give you property off market. They are not in competition with any other buyers. You can then secure the property before anybody sees, and then you can offer the right price for the right property. Not only that, if you have a mentor that can guide you through the whole process, if you've never done it before, then by all means, this mentor is going to give you a lot more money. It's going to generate you a lot more money. The question is, why would you not do it rather than why would you do it? So I keep pushing that, because even myself, I have my own mentors. I never do things on my own. I always consult with them, because I want to make sure that what I'm doing is the right thing. Even when you are experienced, you will find mentors that are more experienced than you, and they can guide you through the new process. And the last one, I would say, plan for contingencies. Mistakes will happen. Problems will happen. Whether you like it or not, change is going to happen. So if you plan for contingencies, let's say you have a budget and you say plus or minus £2,000-3,000 or £5,000, depends how big the project is. Then you can prepare your client, if you're working with clients, on potential issues that can come along. For example, in one of the latest projects we've done, we knew already we had to change everything. There was a lot of wallpaper, like very dated wallpaper. But once we removed the wallpaper, what happened is the whole plastering came off as well, which means you now have to plaster the whole apartment, okay, the whole property. And that's an extra cost. So in that particular case, was an extra £2,000-3,000, plus of course the painting and decorating, but the painting and decorating was already included. But in this case, you had to do priming as well, because it's a new plaster, which means it's an extra expense. So sometimes these things can happen, that's okay. As long as you keep your clients informed on the progress, as long as you are honest and transparent, and as long as you always ask for permission if you could do a certain change, then you're going to be fine. You're going to build trust with this client, and you're going to do a lot more projects. There are no clients in the world that would be happy to find out there were problems just at the end. No way. So if you want to build trust, if you want to build relationships, you need to inform them on the go. When the problem happens, inform them of the problem, but make sure you have a solution before you inform them with the problem. Do not just go to your clients and say, I have this issue. The client is going to say to you, so what? And you're going to come up with something on the spot. And when is the worst time to think about a solution, about an answer? On the spot. That's the worst time. So preparation is essential. So if you know a solution to the problem, present the solution to the problem. So say, there is this problem, but I have a solution. Would you be happy for me to go ahead? And 9 times out of 10, they will be happy for you to go ahead. Again, I hope these tips have been useful for Flip. Remember, you make money when you buy a property, not when you sell it. So if you buy correctly, and if you target your market correctly when you sell it, and if you have a timeline and a budget, and if you have a proper project refurb management system in mind and on paper, then you're going to make millions in property. Again, hope you enjoyed this video. If you like, subscribe, don't forget this, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.